to go a little bit nuts, actually. We've
Yeah.
been down here too many times.
Well,
Start
people,
seeing all
different
sorts of
people
things.
did see different things,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Well, we've got a few things that we think are pretty obvious. So just here, we reckon this is the head of a dragon.
Oh,
Like to see his head.
I was going to say hippo.
Oh yeah, a hippo. That's a good one. Then just here, can you see the dolphin's head? It's got like a little eye and it's drooling.
yeah.
Then just up here, it's a koala and chicken going for a run, I reckon.
That looks like an Aboriginal painting.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? We get a lot of people asking that, but it's not. It's just all natural. It's just all the rock. So this cave, there's no evidence of any Aboriginal history. I'm sure they knew about the Doe Lane, but no one actually ventured in here. And there's a lot of caves that are quite untouched. Mammoth Cave, they found quite a few artefacts in there. A few sort of like spearheads and arrowheads and grinding stones and things like that. But most of the caves, there's no real evidence. But Mammoth Cave, because it's a tunnel cave, really easy access. Whereas this one, you imagine trying to get down there, 30,000 years.
now.
Yeah.
They didn't have much to make lights out of it.
And we don't know what the original entrance was like either. That's the thing, because the roof collapsed. So, you guys would have seen the one at Jewel yesterday where it's a solution pipe.
Yeah.
And, it depends on the cave of what kind of entrance it's going to be. So we don't know what the entrance here was like. It might have been easy to get into, but
went down one in Colorado, and it's like where the Incas, and you go down a couple of 100 feet down a cliff, and it's sort of like a big overhang like this, and they've built almost like a whole city on a shelf just down the. You don't know how they ever got down there and back.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it? What people we think we've got it so hard. It's so easy for us.
What are these ones growing up
To the side? They're just stalagmites, but that's not natural. So they don't really grow on angles like this. So because the water would have been really acidic, it eats away at all the limestone. There's basically, it's eaten away to a certain point, and then it's dropped, it's collapsed. So they've fallen down to the side a bit. But they can then start, if they grow on this angle, if there was a heap of drips up here, there's not quite enough up here to make any real sort of difference. But they could start growing straight up then, off the ones on an angle. But they haven't really in this case. But that's just from a collapse.
How did they come to the idea that it's 1 million years old?
Well, they can tell from the age of the limestone. So the limestone here, that Lewin Naturalist Ridge I was talking about, is some of the youngest limestone in the world. It's about 1.1-ish million years old. So basically it used to be a huge sand dune, and lots of sort of westerly winds have brought in, like broken shells, dead crustaceans, all sorts of stuff off the ocean. And then the water's compacted it down, and you're always left with sort of weaknesses though. It's never going to be exactly perfect and compact everywhere at the same. So where all those weaknesses are, that's where your underwater streams come through, which is where the karst system comes in. And then they just think it was about 100,000 to 150,000 years after the sand dune itself was finally compact into limestone that those streams made their way through.
Why do they call it a karst system? Is it C-A-S-T-E?
No, K-A-R-S-T. Karst.
Karst, so it's
I'm not
terminology,
exactly sure
isn't
why
it?
it's called a karst system, but basically it just means that the caves are formed from natural underwater springs or rivers.
Rivers,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I'll just I'll pass this chunk of calcite crystal around. So this is the bottom of a stalactite.
Wow.
So we know that because you'll be able to see the hole. I'll pass it around in a sec. Yeah. So all the colouring on this is all what happens when people touch them. And it's quite heavy. I know it doesn't look like much, but just be careful when you have a feel, because it's got some weight to it.
Oh, wow.
It makes a bit, you can understand how the suspended table weighs so much. So if you turn it around, so you see that little hole in the middle? So that's when it was a straw.
Oh,
and it's
really?
become a stalactite. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It is very heavy.
Oh, we'll get how to do it.
Yeah, well, is that just a phone? Yeah, you should get some good shots without your flash. The
I
lighting
didn't.
should be
I only just worked out how to.
sufficient.
Savvy.
Oh, it's cold too.
Yeah. And it's pretty interesting on the sort of hardness scale with minerals, calcite crystal. You know, you've got diamonds up at a 10 and they're really strong. Our fingernails sit around 2.7 and calcite crystal's only a 3. So it
Oh,
is,
okay.
it's really, really fragile. Can shatter very, very
So
easily.
transparent.
Is that the little
Yeah, the little hole when it was a straw. Yeah.
Okay.
So stalactites start as straws and they quite often block up. So we know this one's blocked up. So when that happens, the water will travel back up the top of the straw, and generally it'll find a weakness somewhere around the top and then cascade down the side, and that's how stalactites grow.
those little
Yeah.
straws? They don't go all the way to the top, do they?
Sorry?
The little straws don't go all the way to like
Yeah.
60 metres.
60 metres, he's saying.
Oh no,
No,
just
just
inside
inside
the
the
cave.
cave.
Yeah,
Okay.
just inside the cave. Yeah. No,
Dumb.
not quite that high. No. Yeah, it's not bad at all. You should hear some of the questions I get.
Well, that's because it's an open air cave, isn't it?
Yeah, but no, straws. The longest one in the world's about 6.2 metres. There's one in Jewel Cave, which is, you guys would have seen, the third longest straw in the world.
Yep.
And it's 5.43 metres. But it's pretty incredible that they can even get to that because they are so fragile.
That they've found so far.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, what they found. So that one, they did think that was the second longest till about 5 years ago, and
They found some more.
one in Arizona, I think. That
Yeah.
is, that's all right.
Well, it certainly makes it more spectacular with the water, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It really
Yeah.
does. You can see, you know,
Yeah.
just how beautiful, and it's so sad that it's dropping so fast.
Yeah.
But,
So is that just because of drought? climate
mostly,
change?
yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
you can always say there's a few human factors, which, you know, I think for sure. I'm sure you've
Yeah.
all seen the,
Yeah.
you know, couple hundred wineries we've got down here.
I wondered about that when I was
There's,
driving.
there's
Yeah.
lots of tree plantations everywhere,
Yeah.
but most of it is just lack of rainfall. It's just not enough.
Is there a tension between the wine growers and the people who are more environmental here? You know, I'm just curious.
It depends. We haven't really had any issues. We had a few sort of farmers who, you know, started using different bores because we realised it was quite close to this stream where they were hooking in, and they had no problems. They were like, yeah,
So
absolutely.
everyone
we'll
sort of tries
we'll
their
get
best.
another bore, and yeah, everyone's pretty
That's good.
environmentally conscious down in this region, I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only lived down here for about 8 months, but it's amazing the difference between the country and the city. You know, people really do just sort of
Pitch
care a
in.
little bit more, I find.
Yeah.
Because you're just you're surrounded by it here. You know, you can't escape it. You go to
Yeah.
your friend's house 5k's down the road, and you're driving through some of the most beautiful bush around. So
That's
it's
incredible.
one of those things that, you know, I find a lot of the people down here are really
Lovely.
really conscious, environmentally conscious, and
Oh, that's
so
good
we
to
don't
hear.
seem to really have that many issues because
Yeah.
everyone's, you know, trying to do the best of what they can. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to